guys, welcome back to my channel. If you don't know me, my name is Michelle, and today I have with me my hubby,
Josh.
And today we're going to kind of talk about Americans learning to drive in the UK. Of course, Americans already know how to drive. We've been driving in America for a long time.
Not all Americans.
So, just a little bit of knowledge here. So, when Americans come to the UK, it's not like you have to go and sign up for all these classes that you retake. You have an American driver license, so it's pretty much already kind of standard here in the UK. But what you do have to do is take an 8-hour class. And in that 8-hour class, they assume, hey, you can drive, you can operate a vehicle, but we need to teach you about roundabouts, we need to teach you about new signs. And that's kind of like what Americans do in the U.S. when we retest. We just do signs and...
No, it's like if y'all were to go over to the U.S. and you get a rental car. Y'all don't have to take a test or anything. They check your international driver's license, whether it be AAA or anything like that, and then they give you the rental car. It's the same way over here for us.
I'm thinking, I can do this. I'm a very intelligent woman. I can drive. Just all we did is switch the side of the road. So anyways, I take this class and it's all good. And for the first 2 weeks when we came to the UK, I pretty much let him drive. This is not fair because he's used to driving in a lot of different countries. Countries that don't even really have roads. He's used to driving in different environments.
And right now, we're going to let her tell a story. As we all know, there's 3 sides of the story. There's her side, my side, and then my side again.
No, and then the truth is how it goes.
And my side is the truth. That's what I meant by that.
He's been driving for 2 weeks. My main question to him was, because the roundabouts, when you come up to one that's like a 4 entrance into a roundabout, I know you look to your right. Okay, that's common sense. I got this. I'm watching him do it. Seems pretty easy. The roads do look a little bit smaller, but again, I'm thinking, nah, this looks easy. What are people talking about that the problem is? Timid driver, but I'm very cautious.
She's slow.
I'm very cautious, guys, and I would never want to hurt myself or anyone else. So I think I honestly overthought the process when I got into the car. Okay, so the first time that I got in the car, the main question I asked him is, how do you remember what side of the road you're supposed to be on? I know you guys, some of you have been to America. You think it's just common sense. I did too. But once you are behind that wheel and you're taking in, okay, there's new road signs. There's things now that are called the roundabout. Okay, wait, the roads did get a little bit smaller. So there's a lot of things I think that just took my brain over. So my main question was, how do you remember where you need to be when you're driving? And I loved his advice. He's like, well, remember, you'll always be on the inside of the road. Okay, my brain that's so simple, I can get that. I got that part. Okay, so it's a day out. I forgot, where were we even going? Just riding?
Nope. We were actually going to register Christian for his new school.
Okay. And me, I'm ready to drive at this point. Okay, I can do this. This is just a few miles down the road. I think I made it there safely, right?
Nope, I drove.
Oh, okay. He drove. See, I have forgot parts of the story because the part that's coming up is the part that's stuck in my head the most. So there is a little curve. I'm not going to over-exaggerate it, guys, and tell you it was a big curve. It was just a slight bend in the road. That's it. I remember there was a pub on my left and a big, what we call transfer truck, or what do they call it here, a lorry? It's a big truck.
It was a big bus. It was a school bus.
Oh, see?
Right here.
Oh, was it a school bus?
Woo. We already starting off rough, guys.
Okay. I remember it was something big as a vehicle.
It was a big white bus. It was one of the
okay, that's right, school buses.
international traveling bus. Yes.
And as I'm approaching this curve, I promise, guys, I thought this bus was in my lane. And today, I can still hold true to that because now that I'm what I think a professional driver here in the UK, sometimes buses do have to take a little bit of your space up on your side of the road. And I can understand that. I can understand that now that I drive. So, I'm going to stick with the story that this bus was in my lane a little bit. Well, in America, you have a little bit of what you call uh-oh room. And you're able to slide over if you need to. Well, that uh-oh room was a curb for me. And I kind of just swerved a tad bit. Took out the rental tire. We still had a rental car. I took out the rental tire. I think I busted it. And so instantly, he starts yelling at me. What are you doing? Well, I honestly don't know, okay? I think I'm driving. And honestly, I just remember...
You don't remember the whole thing at all, do you?
I I guess I don't. I remember I pulled over.
I yelled at you, Belle?
You did. You were, what are you doing?
No, didn't do anything. You asked me why I was so calm and I didn't yell at you to swerve away from that big old bus. We'll let her tell the story.
Maybe.
So you can
Guys,
see
this has been a little bit ago.
This is how it always goes for me. And the story gets all misconstrued. It's like the telephone game, guys. I don't know what she told herself, but she already told herself something different in the head that actually happened, and then she's telling y'all that, and then if y'all were to tell somebody else, it'd all get misconstrued. I ain't yell at nobody.
Okay, maybe you didn't.
No,
that
maybe,
is okay.
maybe.
I can realize that. Maybe I did, because I think honestly for a second it just kind of went blank, and that's not really good when you're driving. But I do remember something big coming at me. I did take the tire out as I tried to what I thought was dodge. Now to be a bus that probably was not really going to hit me in the first place, but long story short, for my side, is it's kind of nerve-wracking. You get in the car and you think you can just do all these things, and I drove in America, we're not going to say how many years, because I'm still in my 20s, guys, but X amount of years, and you just think you can come to the UK, and I was cautious, but I thought, hey, this is driving, what's the big deal? So now we'll let you tell your side of what really happened.
To the truth, guys. No, so we go there, it's very easy drive, back roads and everything. The roads are very narrow. When you think about the States, I would say you're about 24 to 26 feet width roads. You're taking about 4 feet, 2 feet on each side of the road off, and you have the lines are closer together. I mean, it's a lot more narrow. Way back from when we scheduled my son's new school, my wife, she asked me to drive on the road, and I was like, are you sure you're ready? You've seen me go around the roundabouts, you've adjusted and everything. She's like, I think I got it. And I was like, well, I got faith in you, Belle. So we get in the car, we're taking off from the school, we get on the back roads, and I can tell she's very tense. We're on the back roads. A lot of the back roads are country roads out here, like farmland. So as we're driving, the roads go around these sharp turns. The bushes are literally, you stick your hands out the windows, you can touch them. You can almost smell them, how close you are, if you have the windows down.
Or they just hit your car as you're going by.
Yep, your side view mirrors will get tapped a little bit. Now, as for the bus being in our lane, she was in its lane, 100%, about a foot into the lane. She noticed that she was in the lane and she veered to the left. The problem with that over here is that y'all, instead of having about a 4-inch curb like we do in the States, 4 to 5 inches, literally the roads out here have thick 8 to 9-inch curbs, which if you hit it, it sends you airborne a little bit. Well, we came around this corner, we're going down, it's a 30-mile-an-hour zone because we hit this little tiny patch of town, and whenever you go through a town in Great Britain, the speed limit immediately reduces down to 30, like by law. Sometimes you'll have a 40-mile-an-hour speed limit, but most of the time, 30. So we're in it. We're coming up to a slight bend to the right, and there's a brick wall at that slight turn right in front of us.
I do remember this now.
The bus is coming at us.
It's coming at me.
She's coming into its lane, looking at it, and she starts freaking out, and she starts locking up her elbows and everything. I'm like, thinking in my head, I was like, I ain't going to yell at her. I ain't going to do nothing. I'm just going to watch this and see how this ends. She does the right thing, gets over really close to the curb. And again, 8 to 9 inches. She barely misses the bus as it's passing us. And I'm sitting there. I've already drenched myself. And I got swamp booty. And I'm just like, oh my gosh. And then she didn't slow down at all. But she also didn't take that turn neither that was slightly to the right.
I got scared.
She just locked up and went straight towards that wall, and I was like, I'm not going to yell at her because then she'll swerve towards the bus and we'll have a worse incident. Maybe we can take that wall. That wall was like stone, brick, mason wall.
I do remember you not yelling because I said thank you at the end. I'm sorry, guys, I was wrong. Now that he's retelling it, I do remember saying thank you for not.
But you can see how she treats me.
I know. I do remember saying thank you for not yelling at me.
Yeah. So it felt like 30 minutes in the passenger seat as we were passing the bus and heading straight for a wall.
Which was 2 seconds.
Yes. And I literally said a prayer, and I thank God for letting us miss that bus, but I also asked him to help us veer away from the wall that was very near to us. Didn't miss the curb. So we literally went airborne up a little bit. The front left tire popped, but God veered us away and threw us towards the restaurant that was on the other side of the freaking road. And I was like, don't you hit that, because I was panicking, because I was like, this is going to cost me a lot of money. I was like, this little Honda Accord thing we're renting, whatever. I was like, we can take that. I was like, but we can't take a freaking brick building. I mean, it's made out of cobblestone and stuff. And I was just like, oh my gosh, this is going to cost a lot of money. I just sat there and I was just like, don't say anything to her. She'll maybe push the brake. We hit the curb, went over to the restaurant, and the car stopped itself pretty much because she was like, why didn't you yell at me? I didn't jump her case because I knew if the worst case scenario would have thrown us right into a bus or the actual restaurant. So I thought the best course of action was don't say a word. Changed the tire real quick. We packaged everything up, made sure the girls and everything were good. I looked at her and I smiled. I was like, you want to drive?
No.
Heck no, she wasn't driving, guys. You gotta boot her out, man. She wasn't that.
No, and I didn't drive again probably for the next 2 weeks. He had a business trip that he had to go on. So it was soon after that he had to, leave. And I remember the girls coming home from school and they were like, well, we have a event tonight that we have to go to. Well, their school is kind of far away and down this road it's really bumpy and it's curvy. And I thought, I can't. He is the only one that had drove down there before. And I thought, I just can't do that. And so I remember them crying, and I was like, girls, I'm sorry, but I don't want to put us in danger. And I remember their teachers getting really upset, and they're like, why can your mom not drive? I mean, it's just the same as in America. But at that point, my brain had overloaded, and I just did not want to get in the car and take the risk of hurting someone else or my own kids. So I came very cautious at that point.
Yeah, she went with the logical thinking process, whatever, from the previous things, because let's face it, common sense is not so much common anymore, so we can't just commonly drive down a road that we're not used to or into another culture's driving capabilities. So she decided the best course of action was to stay at home, which was good for our family and really good for others. When you think about it, when we came over here, the average narrow road in the UK, I think, is around 18 feet or 5.5 meters or something. It's around that. Back in the States, our narrow roads are 24 to 25 feet. So even though it's 3 feet on each side of the road, 3 to 4 feet on each side of the road, it's still very much wider. You have a lot more because these huge buses here, they're like international traveling buses that the kids go to school around our area. They're the large one. They even got the porta potties in the back.
Yes.
They're not your typical transportation buses like the big old yellow ones back in the States. I mean, they're not even near the size. These are about twice the size on these narrow 18-foot width roads.
I think my mind just didn't. I mean, at first, we talk about the roads are smaller, and he's telling me, Belle, the roads are smaller. And when you're not driving it, you just automatically, yeah, babe, I know, I've seen it. He's like, you really have to pay attention on your distance on each side. I know, I do that, and I pay attention. And I just don't think it's until you actually get behind the wheel that you realize how big of a difference it is. Or until you feel like there's a bus coming in your lane when actually you're probably in their lane. And I probably can admit to that if I have to, but it's definitely different.
People have to get used to it. And I mean, I even stopped driving my motorcycle over here because there were so many instances where other people from other countries were coming over here driving on the wrong side of the road. When we got to Germany, we had a person with a German plate with us, and they were literally in my lane coming directly at me. And when they crossed over, their mind didn't switch over. They were probably processing something else. Well, I was on my motorcycle and they were heading directly for me, and I was like trying to real quick think about, hey, am I in the wrong lane? What's going on? And then I was like looking at my hand, I was like, this makes an L, so that's the left lane. This is right lane. I'm in the right lane. I'm in the left side of the road, inward right. And I was like, I gotta get off the road. I had that happen to me twice, and I was like, I'm done riding my motorcycle over here. So that thing's been in the garage since. Wife still to this day drives very, very slow in certain circumstances. Not always. Not always. Sometimes she's known to be a little speed demon. She drives this little red rocket Citroen Berlingo.
It's the mail truck, guys.
Bro, it's ugly. I picked it out because it was good on gas.
But I'm telling you, it's amazing because I can use it as an excuse. Because this thing really, we took it to Germany and things. And let's hit the Autobahn in it. Baby, my car don't go over 65 miles an hour. And he's trying to like get it up this.
60. Maybe 65? Maybe 60. That thing does not go. It is... We just pat it as it's trying to struggle its way up the hill.
Yeah.
But it has been an awesome car. It gets about 40, 45 miles a gallon. And it's a diesel.
Yes. It's awesome for road trips, guys. And for little safe mamas that just want to be okay at going their random 40 miles an hour.
Sometimes. Mama Bear has a speed every once in a while. And let me show y'all something.
Don't show them.
Won't show y'all the VIN number. But my wife tried to blame me for 2 tickets. Now I'll tell you one thing. Your tickets over here can be astronomical depending on what the speed was. She got hit by the same camera twice, guys. And then tried to blame me for it. But unfortunately for her, I knew they took pictures on all the vans. So as you can see, this van, one of the police vans, was actually stationed near a corner that you can't see the speed limit change until it's immediate. So it goes from 40 to 30 real fast as soon as you come around the corner.
Trickery.
And as you can see up here in the top right, it says she was doing 45. Well, I got the ticket back, and it's supposed to be a 30-mile-an-hour zone. So y'all can only guess how much that was. They are pricey. But you can pay. We paid £100 not to do the class and everything. Yeah. So in American dollars, that's about. I think it's $1.21 right now to the pound, so $1.21 to £1 right now. When it was that time she got lit up by this, it was $1.37 or something. So we paid about $150 for a ticket, which is honestly not that bad. It's when you accrue more tickets that it goes up. Because the second ticket was not friendly.
I never dreamed this was me, guys. As soon as he opened the mail and tells me, Belle, you got a ticket. And I was like, I didn't get a ticket.
She got 2 tickets. Same camera, guys.
I was so mad. I was like, listen, I go like 5 miles under. Just because I'm grandma driver, guys. I was like, there's no way I got a ticket. That's your ticket.
No, she tried to. She was like, I didn't drive that day. That was you. What time was it? Oh, she got this little sassy.
But it was, once he pulled it up, so in the UK, they take pictures.
And shit, no. I let her go, and I pulled it up on the computer, and I sat there and I questioned her for a little bit, and I was like, babe, so you're telling me this was me? She's like, absolutely. I would never speed. And I was like, okay. Okay. And I let her continue to dig herself in that hole, guys. Then I pulled up the picture. And voila. As you can see on her face, she has her mouth open. Because she knew she was guilty. And then I was like, Michelle, so this little blonde that's driving this red rocket was not you. And she was like, what? And I turned around the camera. She was like, oh my gosh. But then I was like, all right. So then a couple months later, I took that same image, I went and blew it up, and I framed it, and now I keep it inside the house as a joke. But my wife ended up loving it because it's a reminder of the UK, which I put a UK flag in the bottom corner, and then I put the blonde bandit on it.
I do.
But that's my wifey, and you can see she's guilty as always with that mouth hanging wide open, and she tried to blame her innocent husband.
Guys, still to this day, I would have blamed him. I'm not even joking. If he would not have pulled that picture up, why UK? Why is that what we're doing? If he had not pulled that picture up, I was automatically saying it was him because I don't speed. But
Psych.
Obviously,
she
I
does.
do speed. It was one day I was running late. I know I was running late for Christian, and I got held up in traffic. And I think I did. I think I was going.
Dang. Well, there's a picture saying she did.
Okay.
Then she was like, the lasers weren't calibrated. The UK actually gives you the calibration sheet for the day of the laser. So I was like, cool. So this laser was calibrated today at 10 a.m. And she was like, what? And I was like, yeah, they literally put all the documentation into their tickets to show you, hey, you really messed up.
It's a really nice system, don't get me wrong. I do like the system, but not when I'm the speeder getting the ticket. And not 2 tickets in one day. Like, I had to come down the same road. How did I not know? Of course I did know. How do you get 2 tickets by the same cop sitting in the same place?
I don't know. How did you?
I don't know. I really don't. I do not even have an answer for that,
I haven't gotten a ticket, guys, at all.
No. And I was proud of myself for living here. And I'm not the one, guys. I've never had a wreck in the States. I'm just a safe driver. I like to think. I'm not the person that looks at 10 things when they're driving. I'm a very focused driver. Usually the person going 10 miles under the speed limit, people honking the horn at me, telling me to go faster or passing me. So for me to get that speeding ticket, I was livid. I really was. I just could not believe that was me. My picture though, guys, that's definitely going to go back to America with me because, I mean,
it's a memory.
It is a memory, even though it's not probably the best.
It's a memory that cost me more money.
Okay, guys, I know that I did have some of my Instagram followers that were asking for this video. Guys, please recommend what you want to see us do. We don't mind talking about how we came over here or things that we found interesting, things that we found complicated. We don't mind sharing with you guys, so just let us know. Yeah?
I forgot to say, their typical speed limit through the city is 30 miles an hour. I forgot to say that. Some areas is 40, but literally the UK laws, you going through a town, it's immediately to drop to 30 miles an hour. We forgot to tell y'all that.
Yes.
And that's why she got that ticket, is because she hit a small town. And it's literally maybe 200 yards of town, and then it switches right back up to 45 and 40.
That's where the cop is smart. Actually, in this part of town, it goes from 40... or 60, or is it 40 now?
It goes back up to 40.
Yeah, 40 to 30 to, I'm not even telling you, a half a mile is 30 that I got the ticket in, back to 40. Now,
half a mile? No, it is literally 200 yards.
Really?
It switches, yeah, the town right there is very small.
Very small. Now, I know all you guys are saying, he said 45 and I was still speeding, even if it had been 40. Okay, I really cannot justify that one for you.
Guilty.
But still, it's trickery right there for just like a half a second, and that's where he sits to give me.
So what did we learn, guys? We learned Michelle cannot drive.
Michelle can't drive. Alright, guys, so in short, I mean, we kind of understand, I can understand both parts when Americans do come over here and they're driving on the wrong side of the road. I mean, I've had it happen to me and my son where we're coming around a curve and I almost got hit head on. I can't say whether it's an American or not, or somebody just not paying attention, but somebody was, you know, coming head on for me. Luckily, he realized it. I slammed on brakes, and he got over. So I get mad, too, because that's me and my son in the car. I get scared because I could have hit another driver. So I can understand that part, too. I think that's why I got really cautious about just letting my brain settle to the UK before I started to drive again. That's why I probably just took the first month off of driving. So we are going to end this video here. Definitely like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next. Bye!